Often, I think about and describe reproductive function and fertility as simply being reflections of the body's perception of what is going on internally and externally. And by that, I mean that I think of the body as constantly scanning what is happening inside of itself and outside of itself to answer one question: do I have the resources necessary to support my life and the life of another? Hi there, Kendra Tolbert here. I'm a registered dietitian and yoga teacher, and I specialize in women's health and fertility. And this is the first video in our Simply Fertile series, which is a series where I will be sharing simple self-care practices that you can do to support your fertility and overall well-being in 5 minutes or less. So as I said just a moment ago, I think of the body as constantly scanning its internal and external environment to determine if now is a good time, if the resources necessary to support life are available to it. And so some of those resources are things like nutrition, energy from sleep and from nutrition, social ties and connection, a sense of safety. These are some of the things that I think the body is taking cues from and clues from to determine if getting pregnant would be wise at this time, and therefore either upregulating or downregulating reproductive function. So one of the other things that I think that the body is often looking at is chronic stress, something that a lot of us experience, and how could we not? The world is topsy-turvy. But anyhow, there are things that you and I can do to mitigate the effects of stress, because stress ain't going nowhere. And stress isn't inherently bad. Our bodies know what to do with stress. It serves a purpose, or we wouldn't experience it. It's just a problem when we don't have tools to help us manage it, or when it starts to completely rule our lives. So I'm going to teach you one of my very favorite practices for calming the nervous system and creating a sense of peace and safety within your body by connecting with your breath and other sensations. And that practice is finger tracing. You may also hear it called 5-finger breathing or hand tracing. It really doesn't matter what you call it. As long as you do it, you're going to get the benefits of it, even if you call it by a different name or you make up your own name. So I'm going to go ahead, show you how to do it. We'll practice it together, and then together we'll come up with when you plan to do it and how often you plan to do it. So first, I'll demo it. What you and I will do in just a moment is we'll open up one of our hands. We'll place it right in front of our face. We'll look at it. We'll take the index finger of the other hand and bring it to the wrist crease, pinky side of that open hand that we're looking at. We'll bring our attention to our breath. And then when we're ready, on an inhale, we'll slide our index finger up that pinky side till we get to the tip of our pinky. Then as we exhale, slowly, fully, deeply, we'll slide our finger down the inside of our pinky. And then we'll repeat that on each of our fingers until eventually we end up on the thumb side of our hand. And then we'll repeat it and go back. You want to breathe deeply and slowly while you're doing this practice. You want to notice the sensations that you feel in your index finger and in your hand. And you can use either hand. It really doesn't matter. You choose what works best for you. So let's go ahead and practice it together. Open your hand, take a look at it. Whip out that index finger on the other hand, place it at the wrist crease on the pinky side. Bring your attention to your breath. Then when you're ready, on an inhale, slide your finger up. And on an exhale, slowly slide your finger down. And up. And down. Up. And down. Up on an inhale. Down on the exhale. Inhale up. Exhale down. Now we're ready to go up on an inhale on the thumb, down on the exhale. I'll let you continue at your own pace. So, how do you feel after trying that? I know that I feel incredibly calm after doing that. I'll usually repeat it more than once, 3 to 5 times, but you really can do it less than that, more than that. Choose what works best for you. Play with it, experiment, and see what feels good to you. If this is something that you did enjoy, when could you see yourself practicing it? There are lots of different times of day when you could do it. There's no perfect time, in my opinion, to do it. The perfect time is when it fits your schedule and feels most supportive. Some people, myself included, like to do it first thing in the morning. It gives me something to anchor my thoughts to. Otherwise, I am off to the races with all sorts of questions and tasks and to-dos and thoughts that can be a little bit overwhelming. But by looking at my hand, noticing the sensation, syncing my movement to my breath, I'm able to focus my attention, and then I can start my day from a more grounded place. So maybe, if you're a little like me and you wake up ready to go with too many thoughts and too many things to do, that might be a way that you choose to practice it. I have also done it before meals as a way of calming myself so that I can have a truly mindful meal. That might be something that you enjoy as well. Some people will set an alarm midday or before lunch, and that's when they'll practice it. Some people will do it when they get in the car or out of the car. Some people will do it only when they actually experience stress. I don't think that's the best idea. I think you want to create opportunities for calm before you need them, and then you can also practice it in moments of stress or high tension. Some people will do it right before bed. Some people will do it in the shower. Play with it. Decide when you'd like to do it and do it. There is one variation that I like to explore and that one of my clients likes to explore as well, and that is by adding either an affirmation or positive words or thoughts or scripture to the practice. So something that we might do, go ahead, pull out your hand and look at it. Index finger goes to the wrist crease. And on an inhale, we might say something positive like, I am becoming more compassionate on the exhale, right? So you might say something kind about yourself, or you might, say an I am statement for a characteristic that you're hoping to develop. You might use a scripture. I personally love to use be still and know that I am God as an anchor for my thoughts. So for me, that's a very powerful scripture. And so that is one that I will sometimes use as I do finger tracing, but you can play with it. You can decide what works best for you. I hope that you enjoyed this practice. I hope that you got something out of the video. Go ahead, practice this regularly. Try to do it daily for a week and decide if this is something you would like to continue to do. I hope it is, but if it's not for you, I'll be back next week with another practice so that you can support your fertility simply in 5 minutes or less. I will see you then. Until then, be well and bye for now.